Josh joins us now live from Washington. Josh, what was it like to be at that emotional ceremony today?
Well, Latricia, really honestly, to see this in person is something that I will never forget. First of all, just to see the last several years of this veterans community come together behind this effort. And then today, to see it all come together and see so many of those folks in that room today. I mean, honestly, it was powerful just to see, look around the room and see the faces and see just what that meant to them. And also, we're not done yet, right? Now we get to come home and celebrate Larry Taylor through the streets of downtown Chattanooga and at the Medal of Honor Heritage Center, and we're going to do all of that here coming up in a few days here as well. Also, about the process today. Number one, the room, it's smaller than you would imagine. When you get in there, you're like, oh, this room's not that big. I think it might be bigger, but very efficient with how everything is run. They get you in there and get you out of there, and it's very very efficient, and they know what they're doing in there to make sure everything goes smoothly and goes on time like it's supposed to as well. Let's listen to more of what President Biden had to say today about Larry Taylor.
When duty called, Larry did everything to answer. And because of that, he rewrote the fate of 4 families for generations to come. That's valor. That's valor. That's our nation at its very best.
And this is kind of an interesting sidebar about this entire story, and maybe something that I just find interesting. I'm not sure here. But if you think about, just hold this in your mind, right? How much this country has changed since 1968. Well, the place where this battle happened, right? A village called Ap Go Kong there in Vietnam, a remote village at the time. Right now, that is a country club. That's a golf course, right? And when these veterans, a lot of these Vietnam veterans will tell you that in their dreams at night, in their sleep at night, they go back to, the 1960s when they were in Vietnam, and that's not what they're thinking about. But what that looks like today, that's a golf course there. So it's just interesting, sidebar and kind of a fact about this entire story that I thought I should share with you. Let's go back to Latricia there in the studio.
And Josh, you know so many of those stories. You've met Taylor back in 2018, and you know so much not about his life and that rescue and his duty, as the president called it, but his life outside the military. You mentioned how he actually sang with one of our favorites here in Tennessee, Dolly Parton. Tell us that story.
That's right. When Larry Taylor was in college, right, he was a singer in a local rock and roll band, and they would play around Knoxville, and they played at this TV station. They would play shows there at this, it was called the Kaz Walker Show. And if you know anything about Dolly Parton's history, that's where she first sang in public and kind of became known singing on that show. And Larry Taylor would see her there, and they would sing together sometimes. Larry told me part of that.
She came up one time and said, can I sing a song with you? And I said, well, hell yeah, what do you want to sing? And Wildwood Flower or some off the wall something. And anyway, we got through it.
He talked about it for a while. I've got the entire clip of everything that he said about playing with Dolly Parton. That's on my Facebook page. Posted it early this morning, so you have to go through a few posts to find it, but it is all there. He said after he came home from the war, right, in 1968, he was there August 67 to August 68. Well, actually in 1967, that's when Dolly Parton started singing on the Porter Wagner Show. So he comes home, he didn't know about any of that stuff. He's painting his house, and he hears her singing on the TV, and goes in and turns it on, and she's clearly on her way to stardom from there. Let's now go back to the studio to Kim and Latricia.
Josh, you are a tireless advocate for veterans in our area. Thank you for going to D.C. and telling that story as only you could tell it. We'll have a complete wrap-up of his